long, so that is why I don't want to edit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, hello guys. So now we come back with the portfolio review. So this is the portfolio of a girl. I don't know who she is. Anyway, just joking. It's my portfolios. 5 years ago. No, more than 5 years ago. 6 years ago. This is the one that I applied for my master degree in the United States, and I also use this one to apply for my internship here. So I don't know if Neal already reviewed my portfolio, I'm not sure. Anyway, so you just pretend like you are doing a portfolio review
Sure.
for internship summer program.
Okay.
And you don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Okay, so just look at the portfolio and please let me know how you think about it and what
Sure.
I can improve. So first of
Right.
all, it's a cover page. How do you think about the cover page?
Right. Well, it's interesting. It doesn't say much about landscape architecture,
Right.
but it certainly is eye-catching. It's graphically interesting. It says architecture portfolio, not landscape architecture portfolio, so that's interesting. But it definitely, it's a graphically, I think, compelling image on the cover. And so I don't know what story it tells, but it makes me think that you put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. So how do you think about like a cover page with more personal characteristic rather than professional characteristic? I
don't really care that much about that. I mean, it's the cover wants to be graphically interesting in some way. It should not have your picture on it. It should not, if it should be very kind of clean and simple. And so I think that, and I'm sure that it has some story to tell, but it's maybe not evident. I'm not sure if we open this whether or not it will be evident what this is, but I think it's okay to have something different.
Okay, and then the next page.
Mm-hmm.
You want to join us? This is a portfolio review.
Oh yeah?
Do you want to join us?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, so the contents. So it's interesting that I can tell that this person has a very artistic sense to them.
It's good. You can look at my screen because I feel like the big screen
Okay.
is too close to
Okay,
you, so
good.
you might
Thank
not
you.
see like the big picture.
Okay.
So you can look at my
All
screen.
right. So I think that this person obviously has a very artistic sense because the contents not only have some text that's saying what this is going to be, but it actually has some sort of imagery, and the black and white says that there is some design background to this, and I think it's pretty well organized, by section here, and I think it's nice to have some sort of organization up front so that I can follow along as I'm going through it. This shows some organization to it, and on the right hand side I see that the logo shows up and goes back here, so I can kind of follow along.
Okay. I'll move next page.
Yeah, so these are pretty compelling images, and I think that shows that graphically this is interesting, and so this would make the first cut for me, because the renderings I think are beautiful and they're interesting, and then even though I can't get into the diagrams that quickly because I'm just quickly moving through this, I can tell that there's a lot of thought process that goes into it, and so what'll happen is I will think that's a graphically beautiful way to organize it, but I won't spend any time on it on the first cut.
Right.
But the second cut, I will go in and I'll say, what is it that this person is trying to, what were they thinking about when they did this? But to me, I think this is a really nice way of organizing it, right? Couple of beautiful, big, beautiful images, and then some thought process that goes along with it. Mm-hmm. And then so you've got here a couple of images that from obviously the same project, because I can see that the name change, or the name stays the same, and the icon is the same. A very small amount of text, which is perfect, just enough so that I can understand what you're trying to convey. I think the graphics are beautiful, lots of different kinds of graphics, very simple color, and some really nice plans and sections, shows that you can think about things in a lot of different ways, and then some really nice renderings. By the way, I usually, when I look at renderings like this, of this high quality, I wonder if you did those. I wonder who on the team, was this a team project?
It's a team project.
Right, and then I think who on the team did those. So when I'm interviewing you and we're going through your portfolio, not now, but in the back of my mind as I go through this before I've met you, I look at this and I say, I don't know if she did those or not. And so I'm going to look for consistency throughout your portfolio, because if it's consistent, the quality and the kinds of renderings, then I think to myself, she probably did those.
Okay.
If they're totally different styles, I think, well, somebody else did those renderings. And so I would ask you then, when I got you in an interview, what role did you play on this team project?
Okay. Yeah.
So.
And if I say that I did it, but it's not consistent with the other project, so you...
Well, I have to take your word for it.
Okay.
I have to take your word for it. So I have to understand that that you have the ability to lie to me. There's no doubt about it. But I am trusting you.
Okay.
So you can tell me one way or the other.
Okay. You have the next one?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so really nice. You know, it's got a nice rendering, and it shows then a whole series of black and white images. And without going into those and understanding them, it's very compelling how sort of graphically interesting it is. And so to me, the layout of the page is just as important as the content. And so again, I look at it very quickly. I see on here each page has the diagram, has the name of the project, has kind of what it was about, when it was, and a little bit of text, and then a couple of graphics. I think it's just really nice. And the graphics are very clean, very restrained. I think it's very clear to me why this person would get an internship here. And
I remember when I showed this portfolio to SOM, and there's an employee in the SOM. They asked me that why did I show like a lot of technical drawing over there? And it's very like small scale, so they really cannot read it.
Yes.
So how do you think about it?
Well, I think what it does is it shows me that you've done that, right? It's almost like you have to show a little bit of that, just so that I can say, all right, she's done that kind of work, she knows how to do that work, right? And so I don't need to read it and understand it, because I'm not looking at the window details and I'm not looking at the insulation specification. I just want to know that you can put together graphically really nice sections. You've thought about those kind of details in the past, and I may ask you about it, but I don't need a full big sheet of construction documents, right? That's what you'll learn here. I don't expect you to have done all sorts of those things, but it's nice to know, it's nice to see that that's part of your thought process. Final design, thinking through what, to do some of these construction type documents, beautiful sort of diagrams. Those are all really important.
Yeah, because when I did the portfolios, I saw like a lot of people, they didn't put many technical drawings because they see like in the small scale you really cannot read it. But what I put it there because I think that it will show my technical skill, like CAD drawing, and even just like the print out the drawing to the paper is a really need to have skill. Just like setting all the CTB file, the line weight and the colors, and just like different layers overlap. So in general, when you see a technical drawing and you can see through, at least look clear and clean, it will show like a lot of skill inside.
I agree, because what I see from a lot of portfolios is so two things. One thing I see in a lot of portfolios is that everyone will put the beautiful renderings on their pages, and then at the end they'll have one page for technical documents, right, where they'll just show some technical documents, and then another page where they just show some sketches, and another page that show, and that doesn't really tell me anything. What they're trying to do is just check the boxes that they have to do this. What this does, it shows me that on a single project you use all of that skill, right? That's nice. I see that you'd have the diagrams, and you have the model, and you have the renderings, and you have the technical drawings. That shows a really thoughtful process. The other thing I see is that when people put in technical documents, exactly what you said, they are ugly, right? And so if you have a technical document where it's all one line weight, or the line weights are all weird, or that the organization of the leaders is poorly organized, then that tells me that you really don't understand, or you really don't care. This says, okay, she understands, the line weights are right, the leaders are organized, right? All those things are important, and so that tells me a lot about how you, your level of care on your projects.
Okay.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of different kinds of elements. Again, I don't understand a lot of what's gone on yet, but I look at it and I say these are quality drawings and renderings and thought.
Same guy.
And the more I continue to see that, the more I say,
the consistent,
right? When I turn the page and I continue to see good, then to me that says, all right, this one's definitely going in this good pile that we're going to review even closer the next time, right? If I see one or two good ones and then I see a couple that are just not quite there, then I start questioning and I say, wonder what happened. What is this? Is this first one a team project that somebody else did the work, and then this one is her own project? It's not that good, but this continues, I think, to be really nicely done. Again, on the right-hand side, those diagrams. Even though I don't understand them, looks like they're beautifully sort of composed, very simple diagrams that explain the concept. And then on the second review, I'll go into each one of those and sort of figure out what your thought process was. And then that will drive some questions that I will have for you in the interview.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. That is just the research.
Yeah. So I think what's nice about this is it doesn't have the final rendering, right? But it has a lot of good diagrams to it. And it's more of a planning type project, right? Maybe rather than a design project. And so
it's like a small workshop that we find the solution, and it's a big teamwork, and we don't have really like final rendering. Yeah. It's more about like the research.
Right, but I think that's good because I can tell just by what's included in some of these other diagrams here that there was a lot of thought that went into that, and there's a lot of research that went into it. And I will ask you what it was. Tell me a little bit more about this project. Like I don't understand it, but your description to me, I think, is going to help me. And when you describe it, how you describe it to me is also really important. Because I don't want a half an hour of description, right? I want 3 minutes, 2 minutes of this project was this, it was here, here's the problem we tried to solve, here's how we solved it, here's our process, this is the outcome, or something like that. And I think that's good.
The last page.
So I really like these sketches. That shows me that there's a sort of a really nice way to think about things. Obviously you can draw, that's interesting. I'm always interested in that, although I'm very interested in having the drawings that you do incorporated into the project. So for instance, some of those beautiful renderings up front, I would have loved to seen some of the process sketches that lead up to that.
Yeah, I actually didn't, I'm not good in hand sketching in project.
Just artistic sketching.
Right,
Okay.
right. So I could draw what they asked me to draw. But using hand drawing as a tool to design, I'm not good at it. I have to admit that.
Okay.
And you can see it in my portfolio.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if you've seen say Frank Gehry's sketches that he does, they're really bad. But when you see the final building, you totally understand what he was going for, right?
Okay.
It's just a dumb napkin sketch that sort of puts his mind onto the paper, and then you go through your process. So that's what I really like to see most in a portfolio, is not just the final organization of the graphics, but your thought process of how you've got to the end of the project.
Okay, so in general, when you look at the portfolio, I heard a lot of compliments already. So what is the negative things or what I can improve in the future? I actually haven't revised. No, I revised my portfolio once.
Yeah.
But I just want to hear the honest feedback to you, what I can improve and do better.
I would say showing more process.
Okay.
I would say give me what the problem that you were trying to solve, then show me the idea behind it, the very simple idea, the seed of the idea, and then how you sort of progressed from that idea to the final plan. Because that's what's most important to me, is that you think through a problem from beginning to end, and you've done the analysis and you have really come up with this beautiful idea. It's great to show me the final ideas and all the final products laid out, and it's beautifully laid out, but I always want to see your thought process throughout. So that's what I would say, if you were to do it again, or if you were to update it, to think about, and it may even help you think about how you do your work today at the office, right? Would I be able to produce, if somebody asked me, would I be able to produce from beginning to end a series of my thought process on the project? And I think that's really important to go through and to show. So I'd say that, in general, I would say that not only with this portfolio, but with portfolios overall, that's a big issue and a big, I guess, the thing that's left out most.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for the portfolio review today.
Yes, of course.
Give a lot of opinion as well as the advice for student and young professionals looking for a job, an internship.
Yeah, well,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and I look forward to seeing portfolios of people that are watching this to come in and review those, and hopefully we'll have a job together at some point.
In the future, if someone wants to have portfolio review with you, are you willing to?
Yes, absolutely.
Review their portfolios?
Absolutely. I cannot accommodate every single person because I've got work to do, but certainly, yeah, I love to sort of help people out to try and tell their story, and I think I'd be more than willing to do that.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you very much for today.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye bye.